probably all made one of these in your time. It's just a little square of stiff cardboard or stiffish paper. You hold it on the 2 points, and if you blow on one of the sides, it spins around. You can see there's a bit of trouble getting that to go. So you can make this more efficient by using a paper straw and blowing on the corner like this. It really roars around at a great old rate. In fact, that sort of device was used in making one of the early forms of motion pictures. You got a little twirling square like that and put something like a cage on one side and a bird on the other. By making it revolve, you could put the bird into the cage. Not very effectively, but it was a primitive form of moving picture. Well, that's a type of pinwheel, but it's not really a pinwheel. It's got 2 bearings on either side. A pinwheel has one central axle, usually a pin, and they're made out of paper. Well, let's have a look at a simple one you can make out of card. I guess if you just cut a disc like that, would be one of the simplest of all. And to make a pinwheel out of that, you make it virtually into a propeller, something like the windmills that you see pumping water in the outback. And you do this by making radial cuts, all of them lined at the centre, but stopping a fair way from it. I'm making 4 there because it's easier to judge what I'm doing if I put the quarters in and then cut the quarters into 2. And you can see, I think, that I'm making it look rather like one of those windmill pumps. You can also see that the way the scissors cut, I'm giving each of those little blades a twist. We call them vanes. Let's complete that twist a little. And always, this is crucial in making a propeller, always in the same direction. I'm lifting the right-hand side up and the left-hand side down on each one. And if I do that, I spill air all the time out one side, and that's going to drive my little propeller thing around. Let's put a pin through the middle and see what happens. Right. I'm butchering it a little, but we can flatten that out. There we go. Flatten it out and put it onto a block. Now let's see what happens if I blow it. Well, it moves, but not awfully well. And one of the problems is, you see, if I blow that, not only does it spin around, but I'm blowing it back against the plastic, and it's scraping. So we have a refinement to that little propeller. And the refinement is this. Look at it on the side. On that pin, I've also put a short length of drinking straw. And that acts as a bearing. It keeps the propeller off the plastic block or the wooden block or whatever I'm using. And so the friction is very much smaller. When I give that a puff, it goes roaring around. So that's a simple cut-out stiff paper pinwheel. Well, the Japanese and the Chinese have used paper and folded paper as an art form for hundreds of years. A lot of it's called origami, not all of it. And they've invented some rather ingenious folded pinwheels. And let's have a look at one of those. It starts with a basic square of paper. Now, I have to find the centre of that. I know it's a square because I measured it up beforehand, but if I put my ruler here, I can measure that off, and there's the centre there. And from the centre to each corner, I go out 1/3 of the distance. So there's 1, 2, 3. I'd go out there and make a mark. The same on the other side. Turn it round. From the centre, I go out 1/3 of the distance, and on that side. And that tells me where to cut, because this one is a cut and folded pinwheel. I cut to those from the corners. 1, 2. I'm going to make something rather like a Maltese cross by doing this. 3 and 4. Now, once again, I've got 4 vanes in this, and I'm going to have to make them so that they'll spill the air all in the same direction. Now, you can fold them into the centre and put a pin through, but it's easier to put a pin through the back and do it as follows. Pick up the right-hand side of each of those and impale it. Bang. Turn it round, again the right-hand side, and impale it. The right-hand side, again, and the last right-hand side. And I've got something that looks rather like a 4-petaled flower. Each one of those is a vane, and it'll spill the air out that way, so the thing ought to go in that direction. Of course, I can't pin it on like that. Having done that, I can clamp all those four with my finger and thumb, pull the pin out, push it through the hole that way, and that's a lot easier, I can tell you, than trying to get them all there and drive the pin straight through. Well, again, if I cut myself a little paper bearing out of a straw, about that length, I can put that on the point of the pin and pin the whole thing to a plastic block. And that should give me a pinwheel. Well, that goes, but fairly inadequately. It's too floppy. I've made it large to make it easy to show. I've got a little one over here that I've practiced with, and that's about the right sort of size for that thickness of paper. It's typing paper. Let's see how he goes. Very smoothly. So that's the folded paper pinwheel. And the last folded pinwheel is an ingenious one, totally different in type. You take a bit of paper, and this can be lightweight paper, because we're going to fold it double and make it double thickness. It's about, I suppose, about 1.5 times longer than it is wide. And we need it in 3 long strips, so we fold that over. Once that way, and once that way. If you do that and crease it, you can then rip it down those creases, and you'll get 3 equally wide bits of paper. And each of those you fold down the middle. Well, that'll take me a while to do, so I've already done it, but it'll give me 3 bits of folded paper just like that. And here they are. Now, each of these is folded in half, and that's quickly done, so I'll do it now. Down there, and into the middle again, and you'll see that I'm making things rather like those old wooden clothes pegs. They have a head and 2 legs. Now we have to weave them. We weave them into a sort of 3-part knot. This is a wee bit difficult, so watch closely. The head goes through the legs of one, then this head goes through that way, and then it folds back again. Now that's a wee bit hard to do, so I've done one here which shows it quite easily. You see this one goes through the head of that, which in itself goes through the head of that, which in itself goes through the head of that. And if I pull the 3 together, you'll find that they make an interlocking knot. And what's more, if I pull them tight, they start to make a sort of saucer. And that's the basis of our pinwheel. You just trim off the tails a bit, and those tails become the vanes. I can bend them up that way, and that way. Again, I've made 3 vanes, and if I poke a pin through there, and again put my bearing on the back, I've got myself a little folded paper pinwheel. And here's one I've pre-made. You can see it's sitting there, bearing at the back, vanes at the front, and if I blow that, around it goes.
I want to know. Curiosity.